there's maybe some controversy going on, and it has to do with how the show was made. I'm surprised I haven't really heard anybody talking about this quite yet, but of course, it's our job to talk about things and to sleuth out certain things on this channel. So let's talk about the AI that is involved in this episode in particular. It's actually been involved in the rest of the series as well, I believe, but here definitely most prominently. So let's jump in here and talk about it. So first off, we jump into this scene here. This is narrated here by Orpa, who of course is the mother of giants. Now we're gonna deep dive that this week as well. So if you wanna watch that video, make sure you're subscribed to talk about what that is and what is going on with her. How is she connected to all of this? But we kind of start this episode out with this big scene here. Now, those of you that are keen-eyed and maybe have used AI for, you know, the last year or last several months, you might know that this looks a lot like AI. It was my very first thought whenever the episode started, was that this looks like AI, but I couldn't really tell. Like, it wasn't 100% that I could tell, but it definitely looked like it. So this was my first kind of clue as I'm going into the episode, and I was like, okay, maybe they just used it for that one shot. Like, that's interesting. I don't know if that's AI or not. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe I'm not right. If you start to look closely, you'll start to see some hints that it's 100% AI, right? And so they obviously asked AI to make a specific kind of mural or whatever for that. This, I'm not sure if it's AI or not. Actually, yeah, it definitely is. Looking at it here, for sure. This opening sequence is as well. So this is AI video, which is a newer thing. This is not as prominent as AI pictures have been over the last year, but AI video is starting to get pretty good, right? It's starting to get pretty strong, and it's starting to get pretty unrecognizable as AI. However, you can definitely tell there's a certain style, there's a certain feel, there's certain things that happen with the video that make it feel very like not true to life. For example, the clouds in this image here are going upward when they wouldn't really do that, right? They wouldn't really move in that way. Clouds are not smoke, so they don't move in that way overall. And so this is not CGI, right? Someone's asking in the chat, what's the difference between CGI and AI? So CGI is an artist sits down and they make something by hand, okay? AI is where you ask a large language model, which is an AI, right? A robot, right? A machine. You ask it to make you a picture or a video of something specific. So you give it a prompt. For example, this prompt could be like, give me a marble landscape with 3 beautiful women in the middle of it, right? And this would pop out this way. And you could say with clouds surrounding all around it, right? And so you could say that, and this would pop out from AI, right? Now, I'm not sure if every single element from this whole entire section is AI, but the majority of the elements that I've seen in this section are 100% AI generated, because I've just used it so much over the last year and a half or 2 years that I can definitely tell when something is AI. For example, this moment here as well, where this woman's cape is kind of like flowing behind her. There's certain points whenever the cloth begins to like disappear or like kind of move and change. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad thing yet. We're going to save my thoughts for the end overall about what is going on here. But I definitely have to talk about it, right? And so we see like the cape moves in an unnatural way there. If you notice that. It's definitely AI. This shot as well is just a big landscape shot that feels a little bit off. It feels a little bit strange. There may be some sort of like rain overlay on it that's not AI. This hand is the only shot that I thought to myself, maybe this is not AI, but I'm not 100% sure. This is the only shot that I thought to myself that, but it could be AI as well. This shot for sure is AI. We see the angel kind of in the background there, but one way that you'll really notice how AI kind of operates or when AI appears is that a lot of the movement in the scene is stuck to one location. And so the things that should move, for example, his body here, right? Like his abs and his chest, all these things should move, but they don't really move as we play it. and it's only really his wings that move. Same thing in this shot here. We see this guy's face. It looks like a dude, but this is a robot generated image, okay? If you look at like his sternum area, you can see that it doesn't move at all, right? But the rest of him does move, like the wings and the face and different things do move, but his sternum doesn't really move at all. He's got kind of these weird things all over his body. And keep track of like what is on his body because his tattoos kind of move around and change. Here's the same shot we saw before, but a different version of it. She's walking through the wilderness here, and they see each other and they decide to make some babies. And so we look over. One thing that you'll notice too with her face, I want you to look at her face. Her face ends up changing and so does his. And so if you've seen the guy's face here and her face, the faces end up changing because AI is not very good about keeping the same facial features throughout all of this. Yeah. And so here's another shot of the angel guy here. And again, you can see he's got like these black like scales almost on his shoulder now that weren't there before. And also his face is different than the previous shots. So this is a different generation that they've used here. And so you can see that he's totally ripped and stuff and it's all great. You can also see that her hair kind of does some weird things. It like elongates and stops at certain points. Again, this is a similar shot to what we saw before with him. Using that same kind of area there. You can see this shot is a completely different person. It's not the same shot we saw previously. And so it's just kind of weird things happening here. And then this shot is the most AI looking out of everything, I think. It's a very, very strange feeling to see this in a TV show. And you can see the woman is again changed to be a different woman here. And the man, again, does not have all those black markings he had in the previous shot. So there's just a lot of things that are just like really, really weird. And even through all of this, I was like, okay, maybe this is like AI enhanced, or maybe it's like it's changed here. There's some additive things or whatever. And then this shot here was like, okay, for sure, this is AI. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this video and you want to see more stuff from The Chosen or behind the scenes things, I just had a long conversation with Dallas Jenkins over in Texas, and I just released it on my Patreon. If you're interested in seeing this, here's a little bit of a sneak peek, and I'd love to see you over there.
Thank you so much for doing this, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, you're Mormon, right?
Oh, jeez. I should have been prepared for that. Yes, I'm Mormon, and under this is a pride flag that I will be revealing in just a couple moments.
Yeah, no, obviously I'm kidding. Yeah. But I wanted to start with the criticisms because I know every single video that I do about you or with you or whatever, there's always so many criticisms that are just easily kind of like, okay, let's get those out of the way, and then we can talk about the real stuff.
Well, and there's some that still come up still.
Right.
That you...
All right, I hope you like that. Let's get back to the video. Okay, for sure, this is AI. Okay, here's where the mistakes start to happen, right? If you look over to the left over here, like right here where my mouse is, okay? If you look at the spears that are over here to the left, watch how these spears kind of operate as I press play. They don't act like spears. They're more like wet noodles, right? So you see them and you'll see them kind of wiggle around and wobble around. That is very indicative of AI, okay? It's very, very strange. Now here is another one that's like, I absolutely cannot believe they put this in the show. I was really surprised when I saw this one. So like, if you look at the main angel here, right, there's nothing super wrong. Like he's got normal human posture, except that for his right arm is backwards, right? He has his thumb on the outside here, which if you put your arm like this, your thumb should not turn that way, right? So he has the left arm on his right side of his body, and then you see his left arm over here is like a snake. This is very indicative of AI for sure. And if you kind of zoom in and look at all these other guys, there's just some weirdness happening kind of all over, right? Because it's AI, and that's what AI does. AI always kind of messes up certain things and moves some things around, right? And so quite interesting. So let's talk about this. I think I'm going to make this a video just by itself because I don't want to have to talk about this and all the biblical stuff that comes with this episode. There's so much that comes with this episode. What do I think about the use of AI within a show like this? Okay, this is the first time I've ever seen it in a professional show like this. It's pretty interesting to me because it was really jarring. Even before I confirmed that it was AI, it was very jarring to me. Like, I think that's AI. Like, did they use AI for this? Like, I understand why you're using it, right? You're using it to save money. You're using it to cut down on costs for obviously shooting, for actresses, for actors, for having to light and to make costumes for, and to do all these things. Having someone CGI those wings would have been a lot of money, so I understand why they did it, but is it okay? Is it okay? I don't know. I'm kind of stuck in the middle a little bit on this one. I love AI. I use AI all the time. I used AI today, right? Like, I use AI all the time. I use it for my thumbnails. I use it to help me to do research. I use it to organize things for me. I use AI all the time. I am not someone who is afraid of AI, right? But seeing it in this case jarred me quite a bit, actually. More than I thought that it might have, I guess. This is probably the first time, like I said, that I've ever seen it in a TV show or a piece of media like this. And so I'm in the middle on this. I could see where it's beneficial. I could see where it's good, but I just don't think it's ready. I don't think the AI is ready to be used in this way yet, I should say. So, for example, if we go back to this image, right? Like, we see clearly that AI is not ready here, right? I think it degrades the quality of the first section of this episode because of the way that it's used here. However, I do understand why they chose to use it in this section, right? They chose to use it in this section to, one, save money, which makes a lot of sense, and two, because it is a kind of mythological sort of like, ooh, did this happen? Did this not happen? Like, what is going on here? It makes it feel sort of like ethereal, makes it feel sort of like intangible. It gives it this feeling of like a storybook rather than real life, right? And so I understand exactly where they're coming from. I understand why it's being used. I don't know if I'm on board to use it yet. Maybe in a year, maybe in 2 years, it'll get better and it'll fix a lot of these issues that we're having. There's going to be a conversation about this, right? There has to be a conversation about this. Because there's downsides too, right? And I'm trying to be fair on both of these because I don't have a dog in the fight. You're right. It's not my show. I'm not selling this show. I love this show so far, actually. But there has to be a conversation about this somewhere because using AI here took money out of the hands of CGI artists, right? But it also saved money for this Christian production that is trying to get out a great product. So, like, there's some sort of middle ground here, right? Like, there's some sort of conversation that needs to be had. And I don't know if I'm the one that needs to have it, but I think I am the one that maybe needs to ask people to have this conversation. maybe that's my job. Yeah, it's just so interesting to me that there would be almost 3 full minutes of AI content on an Amazon show. Yeah, it just blows my mind. Just really blows my mind. I don't know. Maybe I don't have anything more to say on this, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I want to have a big conversation in the comments. So definitely let me know your thoughts about this. There are definitely pros and there are definitely cons towards this, and I think some people are really going to hate this, and I think some people are going to be totally fine with it and they don't have an issue with it at all. So let me know your thoughts below. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.